another developing story this morning. Startling messages found painted on a South Florida synagogue, leaving many feeling like they were hit by hate. People in the neighborhood stumbling upon the disturbing discovery. And that's not the only anti-Semitic message found recently. 7's Sheldon Fox is live in Northeast Miami-Dade this morning with the details. Sheldon?
Diana and Jeff, disturbing for sure, but if there's any kind of happy mood attached to this or good news attached to this story, it's what we're seeing right this very minute as Be Eco Clean has come out to basically swipe away all of these messages of hate. You saw moments ago in red, Hamas and swastikas painted onto these columns of this synagogue here in Northeast Miami-Dade, just off of 10th Avenue. And 2 days, 2 horrible sets of horrible messages of hate.
I saw this and then I stopped. And I said, wait a minute, what am I seeing here?
What neighborhood watchman Yona Lunger saw while on duty was venomous vandalism, racist, red-painted rage, desecrating a place of worship.
Absolute hate, and why are you doing this? What have we done to you? I mean, we want to live at peace over here.
Torah V'Emunah, an Orthodox Jewish synagogue in Northeast Miami-Dade, was today's target of intolerance and cowardly acts. And it's what neighbors and congregation members will be waking up to this Monday morning.
I mean, honestly, it makes you question if it's safe to, walk around, wearing your yarmulke, like how safe we really are here in America.
Well, the men who patrol these neighborhoods volunteering every night as neighborhood watchmen were shocked to see what they saw overnight. But it's the second set of hateful messages spray-painted in a South Florida neighborhood in as many days.
It said on the back of the car with cream cheese, it said Hamas.
The anti-Semitism was smeared on a Miami Beach family's car Sunday. Jew and Hamas, along with egg yolks and shells, left to bake in the Sunday morning sun. The silly, gutless stunts come as a bloody conflict rages on between Israelis and Palestinians.
With the rise that's going on in Israel, it's very scary now.
And now you've got friends and others reacting to it. What are they saying?
It's like disgusting.
This morning's vandalism was photographed and posted to Facebook. And now the reaction is coming in from across the globe, including from Israel, say the watchmen, who took us for a ride along this morning. Their overwhelming question this Monday, why spread the hate here?
Why would they do it here? If it's all the way in Israel, why would they come here and do it?
But those messages of hate, thankfully, wiped away, wiped clean from the columns here at this synagogue in Northeast Miami-Dade. And you've got 2 sets of cops now looking for vandals. One in Miami Beach, one here in Northeast Miami-Dade, the Miami Beach Police Department and the Miami-Dade Police Department looking for those responsible for that vandalism. Pick up the phone, call Crime Stoppers if you've got any information connected to these cowardly acts. 305-471-TIPS, that's the number in Miami-Dade County. We're in Northeast Miami-Dade right now. Sheldon Fox, Today in Florida.
Breaking overnight, the UN Security Council holding an emergency meeting calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. The council meeting as Muslims mark the end of Ramadan and as new attacks continue. 7's Adriana Hopkins is live in the Newsplex now with those details. Adriana?
Well, international calls for an end to the violence made no difference. More than 1,000 people have been killed, most of them civilians, as the weekend peace talks failed and the violence continued.
An emergency meeting at midnight. The United Nations Security Council discussing the crisis in the Mideast.
The Security Council expresses strong support for an immediate and unconditional humanitarian ceasefire.
Calls for a ceasefire or at least a temporary truce ignored over the weekend. Palestinian militants launching rockets at Israel, 2 of which were shot down by Israel's Iron Dome. An airstrike from Israel killing a Palestinian woman and critically injuring her son. Hamas said it agreed to a UN-mediated ceasefire over the weekend, but Israel restarted its military ground operation after, quote, incessant rocket fire.
Hamas refused to stop the attacks. Israel agreed to 5 ceasefire proposals. Hamas rejected or broke all of them.
We need to see fundamental changes of the life of our people in the Gaza Strip
As desperation grows in Gaza, a group attacked a Red Cross building, smashing windows and lighting a small fire at the entrance.
They waited for someone to help them retrieve their dead children from under the rubble, and at the same time remove the dead from under the rubble who were there for 4 or 5 days, and the ambulances wouldn't come.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country will do whatever is necessary to achieve its goal, sustained quiet.
Because Hamas is firing 25,000 rockets on our cities. They're attacking us with terror tunnels dug into our territory. They're attacking us by land, sea, and air. And obviously, we have to respond.
But PLO Executive Committee member blames Israel for the conflict, saying the country treats Palestinians as a subhuman species.
They devalue our lives and rights. They persist in bombing and shelling people, civilians, and then they blame the victims.
Well, during that midnight meeting, the UN also announced its support for a two-state solution that would allow Israelis and Palestinians to live side by side in peace. Live in the Plex this morning, Adriana Hopkins today in Florida.
All right, thank you, Adriana. The U.S. releasing satellite images they say prove Russian forces have fired rockets across the border into eastern Ukraine. These images show alleged strikes from earlier this month, including one over the weekend with highlighted squares pointing out blast marks from where rockets were launched.
Not only has Russia been providing weapons across the border, including heavy weapons, but they've also now been firing artillery barrages across the border. All that proves is that this is increasingly a situation where it's not just Russian-backed separatists, they're essentially Russian proxies.
U.S. officials believe a Russian-made missile brought down Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 in eastern Ukraine earlier this month, killing nearly 300 people on board. Planes carrying some of the coffins of some of the victims arriving in the Netherlands on Saturday. The crash remains under investigation. Meantime, President Vladimir Putin attending Russia's Navy Day celebrations, using his speech to call for the strengthening of his country's Black Sea fleet.
2 American doctors working to control a killer Ebola outbreak overseas are now infected with the virus. Dr. Kent Brantley caught the disease while treating others in Liberia, and now a second co-worker, Nancy Ripple, is infected as well. They are said to be in stable but serious condition. A co-worker urging countries to support further research on the disease.
I am calling for and have been calling for more international support to fight Ebola in West Africa, because if we don't fight it and contain it there, we will be fighting it and trying to contain it in other places.
Health officials say the current Ebola outbreak centered in West Africa is the deadliest ever. It has infected nearly 1,100 people across several African countries so far and killed almost 700. There's no known cure for the disease.
A string of storms rocking parts of the country, homes torn apart, trees lining streets, and piles of rubble left behind. The storm's hitting Tennessee and Kentucky so far, all the way up to Connecticut.
7's Alexis Rivera is live in the Satellite Center now with a look at the damage. Alexis?
These storms leaving widespread destruction, homes destroyed, and several families now homeless. Severe weather striking central Tennessee over the weekend. Storms ripping the face off this building near Nashville. Severe weather reportedly destroying at least 10 homes in the area. Flashes of lightning and thunder loud enough to make residents nervous.
It was a roar like a train coming through. And then I heard a tree fall and I thought it was coming through the house.
As many as a dozen other homes damaged. Officials say a tornado may have been responsible. Heavy wind responsible for the major damage done to homes in Lexington, Kentucky. A garage door caving in, vehicles damaged, widespread power outages. Authorities say some of the homes were left uninhabitable. The National Weather Service confirms that straight-line winds up to 95 miles per hour are to blame. Residents say the storm moved through the area very quickly. They're now left with no choice but an exhausting cleanup. Sunday storms battering Connecticut. Video caught of a small tornado seen touching down near Hartford. The National Weather Service identified this twister as an EF0, the weakest rating. But authorities say it still caused damage to trees, a trailer, and a couple of homes. And a Wisconsin neighborhood littered with smashed windshields and chipped siding from a hail of storm Hail the size of golf balls hammering the area near Green Bay.
Pounded, and you heard the resonating through the house, on the windows, and even on the siding and on the roof.
Residents say the storm lasted only 15 minutes, but that was enough time for the hail to blanket the streets.
It was everywhere. There was very little places that it didn't reach.
While the hail melted quickly, the impact left behind was more permanent. Debris littering the sidewalk and damage left on cars and houses.
It was cracked siding, chipped siding, tore screens, everything.
Yeah, the truck took a lot of damage.
But residents say they feel fortunate the storm wasn't worse.
I'm glad everyone's safe. You know, we're people. The other's material.
The Red Cross and other emergency management agencies continue to set up shelters in the areas where the storms hit hardest. Live in the Satellite Center, Alexis Rivera, Today in Florida.
A day on the beach turning deadly. A California man is dead and at least 13 others injured after being struck by lightning. A 20-year-old man on Venice Beach near Los Angeles was jolted by the sudden strike. The rare thunderstorm hitting Southern California yesterday afternoon. The bolt not only taking the man's life, but also sending others to the hospital.
It sounded like a sonic boom. It literally shook the building, shook us on the courts.
All of a sudden, there was a big flash of light and a boom, and I felt like someone punched me in the back of my head, like right here, and it went down my whole side of my right body.
Officials say the unusual weather in the area came from what they're calling monsoon moisture. Officials say the surviving victims' injuries range from serious to mild.
9:14 the time. New this morning, a poll just released showing most Floridians support legalizing marijuana. Quinnipiac University releasing results of its Florida poll on medical and recreational marijuana use. The poll found 88% of Florida voters support legalizing medical marijuana, 10% against it. It also shows 55% of voters support making recreational marijuana use legal. 41% do not support that. 1,251 voters were surveyed here. The poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 2.8 points.
It is deadline day for Floridians hoping to vote in the August primary. Anyone who wants to have their voice heard has until today to register. Florida is a closed primary state, meaning you can only vote in the primary for the party you are a registered member of.
Roadwork ready to start on A1A in Fort Lauderdale. Construction will begin today from Sunrise Boulevard to Northeast 18th Street. The work will last right through December of this year. Parking spots and sidewalks closed. Throughout the process, crews are working to fix damage caused by Superstorm Sandy back in 2012.
And today in Florida at 9, just getting started. Still ahead, tragedy on touchdown. A plane making a crash landing at a Florida beach.
Plus, quite the sight to see off the Florida coast. Divers coming to the rescue.